This is the audiobook Simply Full by Sophia Bothwell, and it's available from Amazon. Introduction. Being slim is possible. Being slim is a reality I've enjoyed for over 20 years. Being free from compulsive eating, being free from the obsession with size, shape, and food is something I want everyone who has ever struggled with their weight to experience. May this book help you and guide you, bring you the tools, ideas, and ways of relating to yourself and food that will enable within you that profound transformation that I experienced a long time ago, a transformation that I can see is possible for all of you, the transformation into your permanently slim self. Wishing you many blessings as you get slimmer and stay slim for good. Much love, Sophia. For further information on Sophia's work, contact Sophia, Sophia 2227 or www.sophiabothwell.co.uk. That's SOFIA sophiabothwell.co.uk. Where to begin? We begin with the hunger and fullness sensations, becoming familiar with them and abiding by them. This is our task now. Over the next few weeks and months, you will be following the guidance of your hunger and fullness sensations. You will also be getting more in tune with your emotions. All methods of weight loss that try to cut out the eating when full without dealing with the underlying emotional issues are doomed to failure. So let's take the route of success. I would like you to ask yourself, am I ready to face up to and resolve the emotional issues that are behind my habit of eating when physically full? I hope your answer is a resounding yes, for this affirmative answer will prepare you for the most essential part of losing excess weight for good. And I want total and utter success for you, just as I have experienced in my own life after years of struggling with an obsession with size, shape, and dysfunctional eating patterns. When I stopped dieting and endeavoured to stop eating when full, whilst being aware of the emotions I felt as I stopped when full, relief came. My excess pounds were shed, and a relaxed, happy, healthy relationship to food, my body, and eating occurred. This is what I know every single one of you can experience freedom from food when full. So let's start. The most important question to ask yourself when you want to lose weight is, am I hungry? Asking yourself, am I hungry? Anytime you think about food or eating is the best way to connect with the innate intelligence of your stomach. Your stomach is always relaying information to you about your food intake and letting you know when enough is enough as far as consumption of food is concerned. Following the innate intelligence of one's own stomach is what I teach. It's what got me slim and has kept me slim for over 20 years. If you eat when you have a fullness sensation, obviously telling you that you are physically full, you will gain weight. It's as simple as that. Over and above the type of food you eat, it is stopping when full that will get you and keep you slim. It is through stopping when full that you are allowing your body to find and maintain its own natural weight. Eating when hungry keeps us alive. Eating when full, on the other hand, is addiction to food, suppresses emotion, makes and keeps us fat. Eating when full serves the purpose of suppressing life's uncomfortable emotions, and what is suppressed pops up again and again in ever more annoying ways, for it is crying out to be felt and resolved for good. Therefore, when we stop when full, we are no longer suppressing uncomfortable feelings and emotions. We are experiencing them instead. The next step is resolving those feelings and emotional issues that could drive us to the fridge when full. Once we are aware that we will be experiencing our previously suppressed uncomfortable emotions as we give up eating when full, we are not so perturbed when some uncomfortable emotions arise. We are so accustomed to thinking, everything will be brilliant as I start losing the weight and I will feel great when slimmer. We are really thrown when the reality of an intense, uncomfortable emotion or two presents itself to us, accompanying our slimmer body size. We think a slim body is supposed to go along with a fabulous life where all goes well and I feel good all the time. We think a slim body is not supposed to go along with a regular life and sometimes feeling lousy. We do not know what to do when this issue presents itself to us. We are convinced that it's not supposed to feel bad. It's not supposed to feel difficult, stressful, or boring when you are slim. Or is it? This is the myth I am exploring and replacing with the truth of the matter. Stopping when full allows us to get and stay slim, but stopping when full involves us feeling lousy emotionally sometimes. It is our task to navigate that lousiness. So, in being prepared for the road to slimness to sometimes be a bit of an emotionally bumpy ride, we can continue. A lot of what I teach is common sense wisdom. Remind yourself of the following common sense wisdom often, for it leads to good health. Eating only when physically hungry allows healthy digestion. Eating only when physically hungry nourishes the body efficiently. Eating only when physically hungry is good for the metabolism. Eating only when physically hungry is natural. Eating only when physically hungry is a wise choice. Eating only when physically hungry is essential for good energy levels. Eating only when physically hungry allows us to feel our emotions more easily, both pleasant and unpleasant ones. And feeling emotions is the hallmark of good health in many, many ways. Stop when full. Stop when full. Stop when full. The only thing that prevents us from stopping eating when physically full is an emotion, an unresolved emotion. Feel the emotion, resolve the emotion. And you can stop eating when physically full more easily because your focus is on the real issue emotions, not food, not taste, not willpower, but emotion, emotion, emotion. Losing weight permanently is indeed very much about what goes on in our hearts and minds, as much as it is about what goes on into our mouths and stomachs. Many people say to me, but isn't it just because the food tastes good that I eat so much of it when full? Well, food tastes even better when we are hungry and fancy that particular type of food. A little overindulgence occasionally, like at Christmas or a celebration, an extra spoonful or two of a really delicious soup or dessert when full, yes, but any more than that, and you're eating for some sort of emotional reason. Look back on any time you ate until positively stuffed, and you will find the emotional cause. Ask yourself, how did I feel emotionally just prior to overeating? This way, you have just added insight into your eating patterns. How am I going to resolve those emotions so I no longer eat when full because of them? Well, anytime you feel like eating when physically full, ask yourself immediately, what feeling is this? And then, once you have an idea of what feeling or emotion is there, ask yourself, given the fact I feel this way, what would I like to do now? This simple formula is quite literally your road map out of eating when full, and the region called excess weight can be left behind for good. Thus, you start to navigate the eternal waters of consciousness, finding your way in life without the crutch of eating when full to suppress your unresolved emotional stuff. Eating when physically full is addiction to food. Eating when physically full suppresses feelings. Eating when physically full serves to numb us or distract us from our feelings. Eating when physically full causes excess weight. Eating when physically full can create indigestion, bloating, gas, nausea. No one can lose weight permanently if any eating when physically full is going on. Eat when hungry, stop when full. Eat when hungry, stop when full. Let this be your new, much repeated mantra, your new habit, and your new modus operandi. Let the question, am I physically hungry, be your embedded automatic response to any thought of food or eating. So when the thought occurs, oh, I fancy a sandwich, let your automatic reaction be, am I physically hungry? Likewise for the thought, got to get some chips for tea. Respond with, am I physically hungry? For it is through asking this question that we regain our direct link to our built in weight regulators, the hunger and fullness sensations. Some people say to me, but it seems like I am denying myself food when I try to stop eating when full. It is true we are abstaining from food when full, but in so doing, we are giving ourselves the opportunity to gain freedom from the specific eating that causes excess weight. I ask them to consider the word deny in this context to be an inaccurate term. Rather, we are giving ourselves freedom from food when full. We are also gaining an understanding of why we would even want to eat when full in the first place. Eating when full is dysfunctional eating and an eating disorder. We are healing that eating disorder by gaining the ability to stop eating when full. This is freedom, not denial. And when we are physically hungry, we have the full range of foods and beverages to choose from. Emotional issues are part of life. And if we eat when full because of them, we not only gain weight, we also deny ourselves a bit of life. We numb ourselves to that chunk of our life experience. Life does not like to be numbed, denied, or shoved into suppression, so it becomes ultimately an unpleasant experience. Unpleasant due to the excess weight we carry, the tummy ache we may experience, not to mention the excess gas or pains of indigestion, all because we ate when full because of emotional issues instead of facing up to and resolving those emotional issues. I am sure you have often heard or even used the phrase, biscuits are my downfall, or chocolate is my downfall. Well, as all powerful as biscuits and chocolates can be, they do not have the power in and of themselves to cause anyone's downfall. What does? Our inability, through no fault of our own, to recognize, feel, and resolve the emotional stuff that drives us to eat when full. Biscuits, even chocolate ones, do not have the power to make us overindulge in them. But it is true, we are rendered helpless to resist a binge on biscuits when we know of no other way of coping other than overindulgence. Throughout this audiobook are the ideas, tips, and tools to give you access to many other means of coping so that you have alternatives to the overindulgence and you can gain freedom from eating when full. Chocolate isn't a sweet, it's a medicine. Just ask any premenstrual female and she will tell you that chocolate bar in her hand, its use is medicinal. Well, joking aside, there is some truth in this. Dr. Christian Northrup, author of Women's Bodies, Women's Wisdom and The Wisdom of Menopause, states that when we are premenstrual, it is like the tide being out and we see all our emotional shipwrecks. The trick is to wisely use this premenstrual time to clean up our emotional shipwrecks, not run away from them by eating when full. But a little bit of chocolate when hungry is okay, for medicinal purposes. There is an old Buddhist saying, feelings are like clouds in the sky, they pass. Our job is to feel those feelings as they pass through us. This leads us not only to permanent slimness, but also gives us good physical health, emotional well-being, and a stronger sense of self. To help with this processing or feeling of feelings, spend a day being extra aware of how you feel emotionally. Jot down in a small notebook or in your phone the feelings you become aware of as you go about your daily routine. This could be annoyance at a co-worker or joy at a child's smile. Just spend as much time as you can being aware of how you feel emotionally. What do you think would be different if you were slim? Make a list or just consider it for a moment. Now, what do you need to do? What perspective do you need to take in order for that difference to be in your life now, regardless of your size and shape? Really ponder this, for it is vitally important in the process of achieving true and lasting slimness. So make a list of the very real differences that you feel being slim will bring in its wake. List all the positive associations that being slim conjures up for you, and then list what it takes to bring him in now. For example, being slim will mean I'm more attractive. How can I bring more attractiveness into my life now? Well, people like my smile, so I could smile more often. I could take more time with my hair and wear a little makeup, a little lipstick now and then. These are simple steps, and simple steps are easy to make. Feelings are energy, and energy cannot be destroyed. It changes, but it cannot be destroyed. For example, the feeling of anger, when felt and not dumped on someone by yelling at them, can turn into purposefulness. So, as our anger dissipates, we find we have the ability to take action to heal the thing we are angry about. Some injustice has been done, some need is not being met when we feel angry. Pinpoint the need and seek to meet the need, and the feeling of purposefulness is born within you from not suppressing or dumping your anger, but simply being aware of it, willing to feel it and process it healthily. In private, beating the mattress with your fists, or doing a silent scream, going for a brisk walk or run can all help you healthily process the powerful and sometimes frightening feeling of anger. Removing yourself from the person or situation that is causing you to feel anger is often helpful too, and far more effective than yelling and screaming at them, slamming doors, or slamming your hands down on the table in a dramatic gesture. These are all ways of dumping anger and are abusive to those in the room with you, thus not conducive to healthy relationships or friendships. In fact, I would always distance myself from anyone who regularly behaves in such a way. A slim figure is just that, a slim figure, a body size. That is the result of our food intake. Now, we certainly have associated it with a lot of other stuff like confidence, beauty, grace, attractiveness, the ability to pull, desirability, success, and energy. Even a good life, things going well, and having it all have been associated with the ever elusive slim figure. But the truth is, a slim figure is just that, a slim figure. The plain and simple result of our food intake, and no guarantee of that load of aforementioned positive stuff. In fact, a slim figure in and of itself rarely delivers confidence, attractiveness, success, or feeling good about oneself. If we do not already possess those qualities at our bigger size, they will not magically appear when we are slim just by virtue of that slimness. Nor, or if it does deliver them, it is on a superficial level and often very short lived. The emotional journey from a lack of these qualities to an abundance of these qualities has to be taken in order to make them permanent qualities within ourselves, whatever our size and shape. Do not wait for slimness to do it for you, because the truth is it can't. Do what for you? Give you all those things that you believe will happen when you are slim. Take a moment and list them. Many people, many believe that once they are slim, the perfect relationship will come along, or vast improvement will enter their present marriage. The unconscious and often conscious presumption that relationships will be better when I am slim is a myth we all have to deal with as we endeavour to lose our excess weight for good. Slimness alone does not make relationships or anything else better. Resolving emotional issues does. For example, you could be slim and have chronic fatigue syndrome or receive a diagnosis of breast cancer. This can happen, and are examples of being slim and all not going very well. Extreme financial problems or a lover leaving does indeed happen to the slim, attractive woman. So know that slimness is not the answer to your problems. It is a body size. Slimness is not the answer to your problems. Resolving emotional issues is. Addiction. Addiction has been described as the inability to act on one's own behalf. In other words, not being able to act on the healthy choice that we know is available. Why would we choose an unhealthy choice such as eating when full when the healthy choice, to simply stop when full, is seemingly readily available? Well, we are out of control. The healthy choice is impossible to make. The craving to eat when full is so strong that the compulsive eater cannot stop eating even if she wants to. Not beating yourself up over sometimes being out of control around food is part of changing this. Another part of changing our inability to stop when full is to know that what drives us to eat when full is the unconscious, sometimes conscious urge to suppress our emotions. It is like two urges are going on at once. One, the urge or compulsion to numb emotion and eat when full, and two, the urge or desire to stop eating but risk feeling uncomfortable emotionally. When we stop when full without actively addressing the emotional issues, or at least being prepared to feel difficult emotions associated with some problem or dilemma in our life, then we are left high and dry with those difficult emotions. Ease comes directly through pinpointing and resolving the emotional issue. We can start by asking ourselves, what emotion is this? And given the fact I feel this way, what would I like to do now? And I repeat, what emotion is this? And given the fact I feel this way, what would I like to do now? This gives you the alternative to the binge. So, even if it usually feels like you have little or no control over your habit of eating when full, just bear in mind that on some level it is indeed a choice, and that you are in the process of learning how to make another choice. What we are doing in learning how to lose weight this way is learning how to regain control over when we stop eating. We do this by asking, what feeling is this when we have an urge to eat when full? The question acts like a knife cutting the cords that would pull us into eating when full. This question immediately disperses the fog of the semi conscious, automatic, dysfunctional behavior of eating when full. Again, ask yourself, what feeling is this? Even as you are spooning into your mouth the food you know you are eating when already full, persist with the question, what feeling is this? It is through repeatedly practicing this that you can be more in tune with the specific emotions that drive you to eat when full and develop the ability to stop when full as you actively consider other ways to deal with these emotions. Page 19, Simply Full, Part 1 of the audiobook.